value, right? Now today I am going to start with the peak factor. What is meant by peak factor? The peak factor of any waveform is defined as the ratio of the peak value of the wave to the RMS value of the wave. So in the last class, what is the peak here? Peak factor is equal to, peak factor is also called as crest factor, which is equal to Vp by Vrms. Vp is the peak value. Vrms is the RMS value. What is the peak value? Vm. And what is the RMS value? Vm by root 2. So here, the peak factor of the sinusoidal waveform. If you take the peak factor of the sinusoidal waveform, Vp can be written as Vp, or you can also write as Vm divided by Vrms. Vrms for the sinusoidal waveform is Vp by root 2. So here you are going to get peak factor as root 2, which is equal to 1.414. So here this peak factor will be different for different waveforms. For sinusoidal waveform, the peak factor is 1.414. Is it clear? So Vp by root 2 last time I have derived. So here Irms is equal to Im by root 2. Similarly, Vrms of the sinusoidal waveform is Vm by root 2. Vm can be also written as Vp. Peak value or maximum value both are same. So peak factor. So peak factor of any waveform is defined as the ratio of the peak value of the wave to the RMS value of the wave. Peak factor is also called as crest factor, which is equal to Vp by Vrms, where Vp is the peak value. So here for the peak factor of the sinusoidal waveform is equal to, you are going to get root 2, which is equal to 1.414. So this is very much useful, this peak factor. Next one is the form factor. Form factor. So form factor of a waveform, any waveform, form factor of any waveform is defined as the ratio of RMS value to the average value of the wave. The form factor is equal to Vrms by V average. Now here for the sinusoidal waveform, the form factor is equal to, so Vrms, substitute the value of Vrms. Here from the formula we got Vrms equal to Vm by root 2. And what is the value of V average for sinusoidal waveform? V average equal to 2 Vm by pi. Okay, if you do this one, you are going to get 1.11. So for sinusoidal waveform, the form factor is 1.11. So for other waveforms, the form factor will be different. For sinusoidal waveform, the form factor is 1.11. Any doubts in peak factor and form factor? So peak factor equal to peak value divided by RMS, Vp by Vrms. Form factor is Vrms by V average. So next topic is generation of alternating voltage and current. So here there are two methods to generate an alternating voltage. So here you can see here an alternating voltage may be generated by the first method. Here this is the first method. First method is by rotating a coil at constant angular velocity in a uniform magnetic field. Rotating a coil at constant angular velocity in a uniform magnetic field as shown in figure 1. Here, in the figure 1, so a magnetic field is there. The magnetic lines will start from North Pole and terminate at the South Pole. So here you can see the direction of the magnetic field from north to south. And here in the middle, here, in the middle, a coil is rotated. You can see the direction of the rotation. The coil is rotated in anti-clockwise direction. So here, when a coil is rotated in a magnetic field, an EMF is produced in the coil according to Faraday's law. So here, that the generated voltage can be collected through slip. Here you can see here slip rings. So slip rings and brushes. So at the bottom you can see here, with the help of slip rings and the brushes, we can collect the voltage. So here and here you can place a load. So here by rotating a coil in a magnetic field, by rotating a coil in a magnetic field, we can generate a alternating voltage. And here you can see here P and Q. Yes. Okay. Next, there is another method. So this first method is used for small AC generators. Now for the large AC generators, we have to go for the second method. So second method is by rotating a magnetic field at constant angular velocity within a stationary coil. So here, second method is we are going to rotate a magnetic field at constant angular velocity within a stationary coil, as shown here. Here. So here you have a here middle one. Our middle is the rotor. So here you can see here middle we have at the center we have a rotor which is a magnet. Generally it will be a electromagnet. So here north pole and south pole, you can see the north pole and south pole. So here the rotor is a magnet, electromagnet, which is having a north pole and south pole, and this magnet is rotated at constant angular velocity. So here you can see here for getting the same waveform, here the rotor rotated in clockwise direction. Now here the magnet is rotated in the here you can see here by rotating a magnetic field at a constant angular velocity within a stationary coil. So here you can see here the magnet is rotated at constant angular velocity, and here you can the coil is constant. The coil is not moving. Only the rotor will be moving. The rotor is rotated in clockwise direction, and here EMF is induced in the coil. So here in this case, the coil is stationary. The magnet will be rotating. Now here this method is used for large AC generators. So here in AC generators, you are going to have many number of coils which are connected in series and parallel. So here in your servers, AC generators are not there. So that's why just I am showing the basic principle. Now here, in either case, the generated voltage will be of sinusoidal waveform. The magnitude of the generated voltage will depend upon the number of turns of coil, the strength of magnetic field, and the speed of rotation. So here the first method is used for small AC generators, while the second method is employed for large AC generators. So next, this is very important. Phasor representation of sinusoidal quantities. So here phasor. So this is a new word for you. So you have studied about scalar vector, but this is a phasor. So phasor means it will be rotating. It will be having magnitude and direction. Apart from that, it will be rotating. So there is a difference between vector and phasor. Vector means it will be having magnitude and direction. But a phasor will be having magnitude, direction, and also it will be rotating at constant angular velocity. So what is the requirement of a phasor? Let us see here. So here, so right side you can see here sinusoidal waveform. So here the sine waveform is starting from 0 when omega t equal to 0. When t equal to 0, omega t will be 0. So on the x-axis you have omega t. When t equal to 0, omega t equal to 0, right? So when t equal to 0, what is the magnitude of current? You respond. When t equal to 0, what is the magnitude of current? Anyone? Am I audible? Say yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Okay, when t equal to 0, you can see here omega t will be 0, that is theta equal to 0. What is the magnitude of current? Current is equal to 0 because here it is a sinusoidal current. So here
1.
I equal to Im sin omega t. So when t equal to 0, I equal to 0. When omega t equal to pi by 2, current will be maximum, that is Im. I equal to Im. So here as I equal to Im sin omega t, when omega t equal to 0, I equal to 0. When omega t equal to pi by 2, you are going to get maximum value of current, that is I equal to Im. Again, when omega t equal to pi, I equal to 0. When omega t equal to 3 pi by 2, I equal to minus Im. And when omega t equal to 2 pi, again the current returns to 0. That is I equal to 0. Now here left side you can see a circle, a line OP. So here a line OP is a phasor now. OP is a phasor. I'm going to explain the phasor. When OP is here, OP is a phasor which is rotating at a constant angular velocity omega, right? OP is a phasor which is rotating at a constant angular velocity omega in anti-clockwise direction. Here omega is represented here in the diagram. You can see here omega. Are you able to see the omega? So here OP is a line which is having a magnitude of Im, and it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction at an angular velocity omega radian per second about the point here, about the point O. O is the center, right? OP is a line which is having a magnitude of Im to the scale, right? So it cannot be here 1 centimeter equal to 10 ampere. There will be a scale. So based upon the scale, so here we are taking a line OP to represent to scale the maximum value Im. Here you can see here. Take a line OP to represent to scale the maximum value Im. Are you able to see the second line? Second line, take a line. So first we are considering an alternating current which is represented by the equation I equal to Im sin omega t, right? We have seen the waveform. Next, take a line OP. Okay, so it is having a direction also. Take a line OP to represent to scale the maximum value Im. So OP equal to Im. We are going to take a scale, right? Imagine the line OP. So OP is a phasor, right? Imagine the line OP to be rotating in anti-clockwise direction at an angular velocity omega radian per second about the point O. Now here OP is rotating at an angular velocity omega radian per second in anti-clockwise direction about the point O. O is the center, right? Next, measuring the time. So third line from bottom, measuring the time from the instant when OP is horizontal. Okay, measuring the time from the instant when OP is horizontal. Now here OP has already traveled a angular distance of theta. So here when OP is horizontal, from the time when t equal to 0, when OP is horizontal, t equal to 0, already it has covered a angular distance of theta. Okay, at omega t equal to theta, I am showing the position. So when omega t equal to 0, OP will be horizontal. From here we are considering the time, we are measuring the time from the instant when OP is horizontal. Okay, let OP rotate through an angle theta in anti-clockwise direction. Now here OP has already rotated an angle theta. Now here the important point is the projection of OP on y-axis is OM. Here the projection of OP on y-axis, the projection of OP on y-axis is OM. See here, we can see here, you can see OM, right? You can see OM on y-axis. So OM is projection of OP on y-axis. Now here, what is the OM now? I want OM in terms of OP. Can you get? Yes, you can get OM in terms of OP. Now here OM can be written as so from the diagram you can see here, OM can be written as OP sin theta. What is OP? IM. Sin theta is omega t. So OM is equal to IM sin omega t. So which is equal to small I. What is I? The value of current at that instant. So here in the waveform also you can see here. So OM, if you see OM, and if you draw a horizontal line, you can see here at theta, the magnitude is I equal to IM sin theta. So here the projection of OP on y-axis gives the magnitude of current at that instant. So here you can see the important point is the projection of OP on y-axis gives the magnitude of current at that instant. Now here let us take another instant when OP is horizontal. So when OP is at horizontal, when t equal to 0, OP is at horizontal. So projection of OP on y-axis is 0. So at t equal to 0, we got OP equal to 0. Now when omega t equal to theta, so the projection of OP on y-axis is equal to OM, that is equal to IM sin theta. So here OM equal to IM sin theta. Next, when OP rotated through an angular distance of pi by 2, when theta equal to pi by 2, what about OM? When theta equal to pi by 2, so here OM is equal to OP, right? Projection of here when theta equal to pi by 2, OP will be on y-axis, and the projection of OP on y-axis is OM, which is equal to OP when theta equal to pi by 2. So here also you can check. So here for various values of theta, you can measure the value of OM. So here when theta equal to 0, OM equal to 0. When theta equal to pi by 2, when theta equal to pi by 2, OM is equal to OP. When theta equal to pi, when theta equal to pi, what is the value of OM? So OM is a projection of OP on y-axis. So anybody tell when theta equal to pi by 2, what is the value of OM? Yeah, please respond. 0. Next, when theta equal to 3 pi by 2. When theta equal to 3 pi by 2, so here the projection of OP on y-axis is equal to minus Im. Minus Im. When again when theta equal to 2 pi, again we are going to get the value of OM is equal to 0. So here, the important statement is, in the projection of the phasor OP on y-axis at any instant gives the value of current at that instant. So that is the importance of the phasor. So here, so phasor means it will be continuously rotating in an anti-clockwise direction, and the projection, if you want the magnitude of current at any instant, just we have to take the projection of the phasor on the y-axis. Now, if you plot the projections of the phasor on y-axis versus its angular position, point by point, a sinusoidal alternating current waveform is generated. Thus, the phasor represents the sine wave for every instant of time. So here there are some important points. The length of the phasor represents the maximum value, and the angle with the axis of reference, that is x-axis, indicates the phase of the alternating quantity, that is the current in this case. Now here, the phasor representation enables us to quickly obtain the numerical values, and at the same time have a picture before the eye of the events taking place in the circuit. Now here we have taken only the current. In general, you are going to have voltage and current phasors. So we can tell when the current is lagging, when the current is leading, when the current is in phase with the voltage. That idea we are going to get from the phasor. Thus, in the position of the phasor OP, the instantaneous value is OM, the phase is theta, and frequency is omega by 2 pi. Frequency f is equal to omega by 2 pi. Next one. The phasor diagram permits addition and subtraction of alternating voltages or currents easily. So these phasor diagrams will be coming in transformer. So here, here we have to note one important point. Already I said, alternating voltages and currents are not vectors; they are phasors. Vector means it has only magnitude and direction. Phasor means, in addition to that, we are going to have that the phasor will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction at a constant angular velocity. So phasor vector will be having magnitude and direction. Phasor will be having magnitude, direction, and also it will be rotating at a constant angular velocity, omega radians per second, in anti-clockwise direction. So phasor means it will be having a magnitude and it will be rotating at a constant angular velocity. Vector means it will be having magnitude and direction. Direction will not change, but in a phasor, the direction changes. That means it will be rotating at a constant angular velocity of omega radian per second. Phasor means you have to remember, phasor means it will be having a magnitude, and the phasor will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction at a constant angular velocity of omega radian per second. And if you want the uh, magnitude of if you want the instantaneous value of that particular quantity, you have to take the projection of the phasor on y-axis. If you take the projection of the phasor on y-axis, it will give the magnitude of the alternating quantity at that instant. So let us take phasor diagram of sine waves of same frequency. So in this we are going to take two sine waves. We are going to take two alternating quantities, two alternating sinusoidal quantities. So here we have taken one as voltage, one voltage phasor, and another one is the current phasor. So voltage phasor and current phasor. Here I am taking two phasors. One is voltage, another one is current. Voltage phasor and current phasor. So here there is a phase angle difference between these two. So here you can see here Vm will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction with an angular velocity of omega radian per second. Im is also rotating with the same speed, but Im has started lately. Right here you can see here V waveform, voltage waveform is starting from 0, but current waveform is starting from angle phi, some phase angle phi. So current I lagging the voltage V. So here in this case, current is lagging the voltage waveform. Current waveform lags the voltage waveform. Now here let us see some points here. Consider a sinusoidal voltage wave V and sinusoidal current wave I of the same frequency. So here phasor diagrams are drawn for the quantities having the same frequency. Suppose the current lags behind the voltage by phi. So generally it happens in RL and RL circuits. So here this situation occurs in RL circuits. Suppose the current lags behind the voltage by phi is the angle. The two alternating quantities can be represented on the same phasor diagram because the phasors Vm and Im rotate at the same velocity omega, and hence phasor difference phi between them remains the same at all times. So here Vm and Im are rotating in anticlockwise direction with the same speed. So here there will be the phase difference phi between them remains the same as both are rotating at the same speed. Now here if you take the projections, so if you consider Vm, so Vm is horizontal. So Vm, if you take Vm as reference, that means at t equal to 0, Vm equal to V equal to 0. At t equal to 0, V equal to 0. So if you take Vm as reference, at t equal to 0, V will be 0. So here I have drawn the voltage waveform. Next, after Im, so here at t equal to 0, Im will be having negative value. I will be having negative value. So here If t equal to omega t equal to 5, when omega t equal to 5, I will be 0. So at omega t equal to 5, you can see here, at omega t equal to 5, I equal to 0. So like this, you are going to get this also. So here, so the instant at which both the values reach the both the waveforms reach the maximum value is different, and the instant and both the waveforms reach 0 is also different, but there will be always a phase difference of 5. So now you have two words. One is the phasor. Phasor means it will be having a magnitude and it will be rotating at a constant angular velocity omega radian per second. That means it will be having magnitude and it will be rotating. That is the phasor. Next, phase difference. If two quantities which have some here. So if current lags the voltage by 5, then there will be a phase difference of 5. So the waveforms you can see here, both will be reaching 0 at different instances. So always there is a phase difference between these two alternating quantities. Now here, when each phasor completes one revolution, it generates the corresponding cycle. Now here from this you can see here, when each phasor completes one revolution, we are going to get one cycle of the waveform. Now let us represent the equations. So from the diagram you can see here, V equal to Vm sin omega t. But what about I? I equal to Im sin omega t minus 5. Now you can verify here. When omega t equal to 0, so I is negative, right? When omega t equal to 5, when omega t equal to 5, what about the value of I? When omega t equal to, if you substitute omega t equal to 5, what is the value of I? You are going to get 0. So you can see in the waveform, when omega t equal to 5, I equal to 0. I equal to 0 at omega t equal to 5 here in this case. When omega t equal to 0, you can see I as negative. When omega t equal to 5, I equal to 0. So here let us see the definition. Phasor. These definitions are very important for the 2 marks questions. For the short answers, these are very important. You are going to have for 2 marks. They may ask the definitions. Phasor. The term phasor is used to represent graphically the magnitude and phase of a sinusoidal alternating current or waveform, current or voltage. Sorry. So phasor means the term phasor is used to represent graphically the magnitude and phase of a sinusoidal alternating current or voltage. So phasor will be having magnitude. Okay. If a phasor is given, so here the phasor, if you have a voltage and current phasor, so here it will give the magnitude. So the magnitude of the phasor is equal to the maximum value of the alternating quantity to the scale. So if you have 220 volts, you cannot draw 220 centimeters. So there you have to take the scale like 50 volts equal to 1 centimeter, like that. You have to take the scale and you have to draw the phasor for the voltage. Similarly for the current also, for 10 amperes equal to 1 centimeter. So based on your convenience for drawing, you can take the scale. So here length of the phasor indicates the magnitude of the maximum value of the alternating quantity. Length of the phasor indicates the maximum value of the alternating quantity. Now here the term phasor is used to represent graphically the magnitude and phase of a sinusoidal alternating current or voltage. So here from the phasor diagram, you can have the magnitude of the waveform, that is amplitude, that is the peak value of the waveform, and also you can have the phase. So we have a phase difference of pi. So current lags the voltage here in this case. Next, what is the phase? The phase of a sine wave is an angular measurement. So phase is represented, phase angle we have represented with pi. So what is the phase now? The phase of a sine wave is an angular measurement that specifies the position of the sine wave relative to a reference. Reference is 0. Here, phase means the phase of a sine wave is an angular measurement that specifies the position of the sine wave relative to a reference. Next, phase difference. When two alternating quantities of the same frequency, have different 0 points, just now we have seen voltage and current phasors. The two alternating quantities of the same frequency have different 0 points. They are said to have a phase difference. So here is it clear? Here three definitions. These are very important. Phasor, it will be having a magnitude and phase. Phase means it is angular measurement which specifies the position of the sine wave relative to a reference. Reference is always 0. We are going to take reference as 0. Phase difference means when two alternating quantities of the same frequency have different 0 points, they are said to have a phase difference. Now here for this example, so here the voltage and current phase are having a phase difference of angle phi. Phi is the phase difference. Phi is that phase difference between voltage and current. Now let us take AC circuit containing a resistor only. So we have AC circuit. So here you have taken an alternating voltage source. So it is represented with sinusoidal symbol. In this circuit, it is having a source, voltage, alternating voltage source, V equal to Vm sin omega t. V equal to Vm sin omega t is the alternating voltage source. And here it is connected to a resistor. Now here I is the current flowing through the resistor. I is the current flowing through the resistor. The current is also alternating. Now here VR is the voltage across the resistor. VR is the voltage across the resistor. Now here, as per Ohm's law, we know that voltage drop V equal to I into R. As per Ohm's law, we can write V equal to IR. Now what is I? I equal to V by R. So here V equal to IR, I equal to V by R. So this is valid for AC and DC. V equal to IR. From the V equal to IR, we can write I equal to V by R. Now what is V? What is V? Here V equal to Vm sin omega t and R. V equal to Vm sin omega t. R value I have written. Now here V I replaced with Vm sin omega t because V equal to Vm sin omega t. Now here this equation can be written as Vm by R into sin omega t. This is also a sinusoidal function. So here this I am going to write as Vm by R. I am going to write as Im. So here the value of I will be maximum, that is Im when omega t equal to 1. So Im equal to Vm by R. So now here equation 2 becomes small I equal to Im sin omega t, where Im equal to Vm by R. If omega t equal to, what is the value of what is the maximum value of sin omega t, which is equal to 1. So what is the maximum value of small I? It is equal to Im. So I equal to Im at sin omega t equal to 1. When sin omega t equal to 1, we are going to get the maximum value for the current. So that I am going to represent by Im. So Im equal to Vm by R. So small I equal to Im sin omega t, where Im equal to Vm by R. Now let us draw the waveforms. So here waveform for voltage and current. So we have V equal to, see here we have three waveforms: power waveform, voltage waveform, current waveform. V is a voltage waveform. So V equal to Vm sin omega t. So you can write the voltage waveform. What about current? Current waveform is I equal to Im sin omega t. So below the voltage waveform, I have drawn the current waveform. Next, how to get the power waveform? So if you multiply voltage waveform and current waveform, you are going to get power waveform. So here, when voltage and current both are positive, power will be positive. When voltage and current both are negative, what about the power? Power is now in this case the power will be positive. Negative into negative, positive. So power is always positive in this case. So here voltage, when both are becoming zero at the same time, so there is no phase difference between voltage and current. So one point is, if we have a pure resistive circuit, then voltage and current will be in phase. There will be no phase difference, because from the equation you can see here we got I equal to Im sin omega t, where Im equal to Vm by R. So here in a resistor circuit, voltage and current will be in phase, where the phase difference is zero. Now here, if I take V equal to Vm sin omega t, and if I draw a waveform, then I am going to get the current waveform. Current waveform I small I equal to Im sin omega t. So I have drawn the current waveform below the voltage waveform. Next, if I want the power waveform, you have to multiply voltage waveform and current waveform. So from 0 to pi, you can see voltage and current both are positive. So power will be positive. So here, when V equal to 0, I equal to 0, P equal to, then P equal to 0. So when V equal to maximum and I equal to maximum, then what about the power? Power will be maximum. Again, when at omega t equal to pi, V equal to 0, I equal to 0. So power is equal to 0. Next, the voltage and current both are going negative. When both are negative, negative into negative is positive. So power is positive during 0 to pi, and also from pi to 2 pi. So now instantaneous power is equal to Vi, that is equal to P equal to Vm sin omega t into Im sin omega t. So you are going to get Vm Im times square omega t. Now here let us calculate average power. So average power you can take the base as 2 pi because in both the cases the power is positive. 1 by 2 pi 0 to 2 pi Vm Im sin square omega t. So if you integrate, you are going to get Vm Im by 2, which is equal to Vm by root 2 into Im by root 2. So you why here if you take what is Vm by root 2? Vrms. Im by root 2 is Irms. So which is represented by Vi. So here the power is given by Vi. For a resistor circuit, the power is given by Vi, Vrms, Irms. Now here, while drawing the phasor diagrams also, we are going to use Vrms and Irms instead of peak value that you are going to see further. Now let us consider a circuit which is containing a inductor. Now before going to AC circuit, let us see the DC circuit. So here, if you have a inductor and if you give DC supply, what happens? Then after studying DC, we go for AC. So first, what is the inductor? An inductor consists of a large number of turns. Are you able to see the screen? Yeah, please respond. Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, now let us see the definition of inductor. An inductor consists of a large number of turns having having a having either a ferromagnetic core or air core. So inductor generally it will be having a core. If there is no core, it is called as air core inductor. So generally we are going to have a ferromagnetic core. So on a ferromagnetic material, we are going to we are going to have a winding that is called a inductor. Now here, if you have a ferromagnetic core, so here in the diagram we have a ferromagnetic core, and right side you have a air core inductor. Now here we have the positive terminal, negative terminal for the that is here we are going to give a DC supply. So then a current will flow in the direction as indicated. Next, so when a current flows, what happens? So you can see a flux. So when a current flows through a ferromagnetic material, that ferromagnetic material will now act as electromagnet. Right? What are the examples of ferromagnetic materials? Iron, steel, right? So if a wire is wound on a iron piece and if it is supply, that iron piece will act as magnet. That magnet is called as electromagnet. Now here, for a magnet, you can have the north pole and south pole, and here you are going to have a magnetic flux, magnetic lines of force. So here, flux is nothing but magnetic lines of force is called as flux. Now here, phi is the flux per turn or simply flux. Phi is the flux per turn. If you have n turns, you are going to have more number of flux. So here phi is the flux per turn and n phi is the total flux. So total flux is represented by psi, which is equal to n phi. It is also called as flux linkages. Phi is the flux, psi is the flux linkages or total flux. Now here right side you can see here. Now here this you know that current is proportional to voltage, or you can also take current is proportional to EMF, electromotive force, but flux is proportional to MMF. So similar, both are here, similar you can see here. Current is proportional to electromotive force, EMF. Current is proportional to electromotive force, that is EMF. Similarly, flux is proportional to MMF, magnetomotive force. So here in a magnetic circuits, instead of EMF, we are going to have MMF. Then in a resistor circuit, in electric circuits, we are going to have EMF. In magnetic circuits, we are going to have MMF. In electric circuits, we are going to have resistance. Similarly, in magnetic circuits, we are going to have reluctance. Now here, right side you can see here, flux. Flux is similar to current in electric circuits. So just like I equal to V by R, here in magnetic circuits, phi equal to MMF by reluctance. So MMF is equal to Ni, number of turns into the current. If the number of turns are more, flux will be more. If the current is more, flux will be more. So here, already I told you in the first class that flux is proportional to I, flux equal to Li. Flux is proportional to I, flux equal to Li, where L is the inductance. Now here, see here, MMF equal to Ni, reluctance equal to L by mu A, where mu equal to, mu is the permeability. Mu is the permeability. L is the length. A is the area of cross section of the core. Now here, coming to L equal to psi by I. Psi equal to Li. Right? If more number of turns means L will be more. So L equal to psi by I. So psi can be written as N phi. Already I told you here. Psi equal to N phi. So psi equal to N phi by I. So here N by I. So write the expression for phi. So you are going to get L equal to N square mu A by L. So for a given magnetic material, you can find out the inductor. So for a here, inductor is equal to N square mu A by L. N square. So here, if you have a ferromagnetic material and a coil on that, it is called a inductor. We can find the inductance of that component by taking this formula: N square mu A by L. N is the number of turns. Mu is the permeability of the material. A is the cross section of the core. L is the length of the core. Now here, if number of turns are increased, you can see here inductance also increases. If permeability increases, inductance also increases. Now coming to P equal to Vi. So here, this is just for idea. L equal to N square mu A by L. Already in intermediate also you may have studied. Now coming to AC circuit. Now AC. In AC circuits, you can take so as per Faraday's law, V equal to d phi by dt. As per Faraday's law, V equal to d phi by dt. So here, phi, if you substitute phi equal to Li, you are going to get V equal to L di by dt. Now here, di by dt. this dA by dt will be having a value only for AC circuits. If you have a DC circuits, what about dA by dt? dI by dt will be 0 because current will be constant. So here V is the voltage across the inductor. V is the voltage across the inductor, so which is equal to supply voltage as the circuit is consisting of only inductor. So here I am not on the inductor circuit. Let me check here. So here this is the circuit which is consisting of inductor and a resistor. Now if you take a DC circuit, only energy stored in the magnetic field and heat is dissipated in the resistor when the switch is closed. Now here I am talking about the voltage across the inductor. So here when there is only changing magnetic flux, so here magnetic flux will be changing only when current is changing. When the current is changing, then only a voltage appears across the inductor. Otherwise, here it will be. So here for the DC circuits, you are going to study in transients. So in other subject, you are going to study in detail. So for this, everything you are going to study in another subject. So here coming to BW. BW starts from this circuit, AC circuit containing inductor only. So from this, so this topic is there in your syllabus. So if you don't understand those all the formulas, no need to worry, that will not come under BW subject. So in BW subject, you are going to have this topic, AC circuit containing inductor only. So here in this, we are going to obtain the relation between voltage and current and also the power. AC circuit containing inductance only. Now here, when alternating voltage, we have an alternating voltage V equal to Vm sin omega t, and we are connecting this alternating voltage to an inductor, and this is the circuit. Let us see what happens. What will be the value of current? When an alternating current flows through a coil, an EMF is induced due to inductance of the coil. Right. So here, when an alternating current flows through a coil, an EMF is induced due to inductance of the coil. Here we are considering only inductance. That means R will be 0. When R is equal to 0, then there is no ohmic drop. Then there will be no voltage drop. So there will be no voltage drop in the circuit. So there will be an induced EMF in the inductor. So that induced EMF is equal to the applied alternating voltage. Right. So here V equal to Vm sin omega t, and here in the inductor there will be induced EMF. That induced EMF is equal to applied voltage. So what is the applied alternating voltage? Vm sin omega t. What is the induced EMF? L dA by dt. So how you got this L dA by dt means, according to Faraday's law, voltage is induced here. V equal to d psi by dt. So here d equal to d psi by dt, psi equal to Li. So V equal to L dA by dt. So you may be getting to what is the value of induced EMF. So here this is the formula we have taken from about topic. So here induced EMF is given by L dA by dt. This is according to Faraday's law. According to Faraday's law, we are going to get this equation. induced EMF is given by L di by dt. So here when there is a alternating current, then only you are going to have a induced EMF. So for the direct current, induced EMF will be 0. For alternating current only, as the current is alternating, then only you are going to have di by dt. Right. So here applied voltage is equal to induced EMF. Induced EMF is given by L di by dt. So this is very important. Induced EMF is given by L di by dt. Now here from this, obtain the expression for current I. So already we know the equation for voltage, V equal to Vm sin omega t. Now we have to know about the equation for current. So current, for getting the equation for current, so first so current equal to, you can write Vm by L integration sin omega t dt. So what is the integration of sin omega t? Minus cos omega t by omega. Now here this can be written as Vm by omega L sin omega t minus pi by 2. Minus cos omega t can be written as sin omega t minus pi by 2. So here omega L can be written as XL. Omega L can be written as XL. Now here, when the value of current will be maximum, the value of the current will be maximum when omega t is equal to here. So here, if you take omega t equal to 0, it will be having a maximum value. When omega t equal to pi by 2, the value of the current is equal to 0. So when omega t equal to 0, what here I will be having maximum value, but it will be negative maximum. When omega t equal to 0, I is having negative maximum. When omega t equal to pi by 2, I is having 0. When omega t equal to pi by 2, I equal to 0. But coming to current, what is the equation of the voltage? V equal to Vm sin omega t. So when omega t equal to 0, V equal to 0. When omega t equal to pi by 2, V is having maximum value. Let us see these two in the waveform. Here in this waveform, first we have drawn a voltage waveform. Next dotted one is the current waveform. So I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. So here when omega t equal to 0, I is having the negative value. When omega t equal to pi by 2, I equal to 0. When omega equal to pi, I is having maximum value. Next, first waveform is the voltage waveform. Now here, then you can get the power waveform. So here, how to get the power waveform? If you multiply voltage and current waveforms, you are going to get the power waveform. Now here, let us see the current and voltage when during the period 0 to pi by 2. So during the period 0 to pi by 2, voltage is positive, current is negative. What about the power? Power is negative. Next, from pi by 2 to pi, from pi by 2 to pi, you can see current as positive, voltage is also positive, so power will be positive. Next, coming to pi to 3 pi by 2. So what about the voltage? Voltage is negative, current is positive, power is negative. Next, from 3 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2 to 2 pi, again the power will be positive because voltage and current both are negative, so power will be positive. Now here You can see here in 1/2 second the power. What about the power? It is going negative and it is going positive. So here, what about the net power? Average power. So average power will be 0. So here the power consumed by an inductor will be 0. So here what it is doing means in 1/4 cycle it is consuming the power, and in the next quarter cycle it is delivering the same power. So it is storing the power and it is delivering the power. So a pure conductor, a pure inductor. If you take a pure inductor, what happens? In 1/4 cycle of the waveform, voltage waveform, it will be consuming the power, and in the next quarter cycle, it will be releasing the stored energy. So in 1/4 cycle, it will be storing the energy. In another quarter cycle, it will be releasing the stored energy. So inductor will not consume the power, but it will exchange the power. So it will store the power and it will deliver the power. So if you draw the phasor diagram, if you take VL as reference, so current lags the voltage. As we got I equal to Im sin omega t minus pi by 2, which can be also written as Im minus 90 degrees. Im at an angle of minus 90 degrees. This can be written like this also. Im at an angle of 90 degrees. So here, if you take VL as reference, IL is drawn at an angle 90 degrees behind the VL. Now here VL and IL both are phasors and they will be rotating in anti-clockwise direction. And here you can see here IL lags the voltage by 90 degrees. In the inductor, current lags the voltage by 90 degrees. You can see here from the waveform also when what is the equation for VL? Vm sin omega t. The equation for current is Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. Im sin omega t minus pi by 2. So current lags the voltage by 90 degrees in a pure inductor. So here in your subject, if they ask this AC circuit containing inductor only, so you can write V equal to Vm sin omega t. So you have to know about induced EMF. Induced EMF is given by L di by dt. So how you got this L di by dt means as per Faraday's law. This is not required for your syllabus. Just for information, you can know this one. V is given by Cl. V is given by d phi by dt as per Faraday's law. So when there is a change in magnetic flux and EMF is induced, V equal to d phi by dt, d psi by dt. So this can be written as psi equal to Li. So L di by dt. When there is a changing current, when there is alternating current, then only you are going to have di by dt value. Okay. Then only you are going to get voltage induced in V equal to L di by dt. In the exam, you can directly write down induced EMF equal to L di by dt. You are going to get full marks. Okay. Induced EMF equal to, directly you can write down L di by dt. You got this by using Faraday's law. So you are going to get the equation for I. Then you are going to draw the waveforms. Then you are going to draw the power waveform. So here, if you see the power waveform, average power is equal to 0. That means power consumed by the inductor is equal to 0. Just there will be exchange of energy between the inductor and the source. In 1/4 cycle, the inductor will consume the store the energy, and in the next quarter cycle, the inductor will release the energy. It will store the energy in the form of magnetic field in one quarter cycle, and in another quarter cycle, it will release the stored energy. Now coming to capacitor. So before going to capacitor, do you have any doubts in inductor? Yeah, please respond. Can I start capacitor? Okay, I'm starting the capacitor. So here, for your syllabus, here. In your syllabus, you have AC circuit containing capacitor only. From this, your syllabus starts. But before going to this topic, let us know about the capacitor. Okay. So what is the capacitor? Any two conducting surfaces separated by an insulating material is called a capacitor. Capacitor is also called as condenser. Any two conducting surfaces, any two metal parts, or any two conducting surfaces separated by an insulating material is called a capacitor or condenser. The commonly used dielectrics are insulating material is also called as dielectric material. The commonly used dielectrics are air, mica, waxed paper, ceramic, etc. So here, the ability of a capacitor to store charge is known as capacitance. So what is a capacitance? The ability of a capacitor to store charge is known as capacitance. Now here you can see here A and B are two plates which are connected to a switch and then to a voltage source. Positive terminal, we can see a positive terminal, negative terminal. Now here, when the switch is closed, in the second diagram you can see switch is closed. Now what happens? So here, the positive terminal will attract the electrons, and here negative terminal, what it will repel the electrons. So here, so on the plates of the capacitor, we can see positive charge and negative charge. Positive charge means lack of electrons, negative charge means excess of electrons. Now here, once the electrons will move, after get fully charged, the electrons will stop moving. Now in the third diagram, you can see there is no flow of electrons. So here, the capacitor has charge to maximum value. Next, the fourth one, you can see here, even if the switch is open, the charges will remain on the surfaces of the capacitor. So one plate will be positive charged and another plate is negatively charged. This is just for information. So the electrons from plate A. So you have two plates. A and B are the two plates. This is the first diagram. Switch is opened. Second diagram, we are closing the switch. When the switch is closed, there will be movement of electrons. And in the third diagram, the capacitor is fully charged to the voltage V. Next step. Even if you open the switch, the charges will remain on the plates of the capacitor. So here the electron from plate A will be attracted by the positive terminal of the battery, and the electrons start accumulating on plate B. Here, plate B, excess of electrons. Okay. As a result, plate A is positive charged and plate B is negative charge. So here the charge Q stored in the capacitor is directly proportional to the potential difference across it. That is, Q is, you can take small q or capital Q. Q is proportional to V. Q equal to CV. So here Q equal to CV, where C is the capacitance. So capacitance here, capacitance is given by epsilon naught epsilon r A by D, where epsilon is the permittivity of the free space. So this is just for information. Next, energy stored in a capacitor. So energy stored in a capacitor, here you can see here. So instantaneous power is equal to VI. So here I equal to dq by dt. You can write I equal to dq by dt. What is Q? Q equal to CV. So P equal to CV dV by dt. Now what about here? Energy. Energy is integration of power. So energy equal to power into time. So here, as the power is in equation form, so energy is equal to integration of power with respect to dt. So if you substitute the expression for power CV dV by dt into dt, so here the C is a constant. It depends upon the distance here. C is a constant. It depends upon epsilon naught epsilon r A by D. So for a given capacitor, D will be constant. A is the area, surface area of the plate. Epsilon r is the relative permittivity. Epsilon 0 is the permittivity of the free space, which is equal to 1 by 36 pi into 10 power minus 9 farad per meter. So here C is a constant. So you can move the constant out of this integration. So C into integration 0 to V dV by dt. So dt gets cancelled means, so here you have to remove, in the denominator you have to remove dt. So here C integration 0 to V dV, which becomes 1 by 2 C V square. So integration of V with dV means V square by 2. So here half CV square. So just I will send once again this PDF. Just you have to strike off the dt. So here the dt here you can see here dt gets cancelled. So here integration V dV. So half CV square. Energy stored in a capacitor is given by half CV square. So energy storage is given by half CV square. So based on you can see a problem. So this problem I have taken from VK Mehta. So your syllabus starts here. AC circuit containing capacitor only. So now we are going to have an AC circuit. Instead of DC circuit, we have the AC circuit. AC circuit containing capacitor only. So AC voltage is V equal to Vm sin omega t, and this AC voltage is connected to a capacitor. So right side I have drawn a phasor diagram that we are going to see how it is obtained. Let the equation of the applied voltage be V equal to Vm sin omega t. At any instant, I be the current and Q be the charge on the plates. So charge in the capacitor is given by Q equal to CV. So what is V? Vm sin omega t. Now current is equal to, you know that current I is equal to dq by dt. Flow of charge per second is current. So you know that I equal to dq by dt. What is now? Substitute the expression for Q. So you are going to get this one. So finally, so here, now here, the maximum value of current is equal to, the maximum value of current occurs when sine of that function is equal to 1. Sine of the angle is equal to 1. Then you are going to get the maximum value of current. So maximum value of the current is equal to omega c Vm. That can be represented with Im. So finally here, the equation can be written as I equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. I equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. Now here, what is the value of V? V equal to Vm sin omega t. I equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. When omega t equal to 0, what happens to I? I equal to Im. But what about the value of V? V equal to 0. At omega t equal to 0, V equal to 0, but I is having maximum value. So you can see the waveform here. So here this waveform is taken with respect to V. We have taken V as reference. So when omega t, when V equal to 0, I is having maximum value. When omega t equal to 0, V equal to 0. But what about the current? Current is equal to maximum value. When V equal to maximum value, that is at omega t equal to pi by 2, V is having maximum value. What about the current? Current is having 0 value. So that I have drawn in the waveform. You can see here. You can see voltage waveform, current waveform. Now coming to the power waveform. So power is equal to voltage into current. So from 0 to pi by 2, you can see here voltage is positive, current is also positive, so power is positive. During pi by 2 to pi, what about the voltage? Voltage is positive, but current is negative. Power will be negative. So during half cycle, you can see here, once the power is positive, in one quarter cycle, power is positive. In another quarter cycle, power is negative. That means power is positive means it will be, the capacitor will be storing the energy in one quarter cycle. When the power is negative, the capacitor will be releasing the stored energy, but it will not consume any power. Just there will be exchange of energy between source and the capacitor. Coming to the phase difference. So here it is clear that current is leading the voltage by pi by 2 radians. So here you can see here. So here then we are going to get this phasor diagram. So here voltage across the capacitor is Vc, current flowing through the capacitor is Ic. So current leads the voltage. Current leads the voltage by 90 degrees. Current leads the voltage by 90 degrees. So here the projection of the phasors on y-axis gives the values of the voltage or the current at that instant. So if you want the magnitude of the alternating quantity, just we have to take the projections of the phasors on the y-axis. So at omega t equal to 0, V equal to 0, but I is having maximum value. So like this, you can draw the phasor diagrams based on the equation. So here I equal to Im sin omega t plus pi by 2. So current leads the voltage. So here this can be obtained in another method also. So here substitute the expression for current, Im, you know that omega C Vm. Here, Im equal to omega C Vm. So here, omega C can be written as 1 by omega C is equal to Xc, where Xc is the capacitive reactance. 1 by omega C can be written as Xc, where Xc is the capacitive reactance. So where X equal to 1 by omega C is called the capacitive reactance. So Vc of T equal to C. I have taken V by I. If I want V equal to Z into I. So here in AC circuits we are going to have impedance that is equal to Z. Z equal to V by I. Z is called as impedance. So Vc of P equal to minus J Xc into Ic of T. So here, now let us determine the analysis of series RL circuit excited by sinusoidal input. Now here, let us take a combination of R and L, resistance and inductance. Series RL circuit. R and L are in series. So here this series RL circuit is excited by sinusoidal input. Now VR is the voltage across the resistor, VL is the voltage across the inductor. I is the current flowing through R and L, V is the applied voltage. Now here, as per Ohm's law, we know that VR equal to IR and VL equal to VR. Now we are going to take V as the RMS value of the applied sinusoidal voltage. RMS value. What is the RMS value? It is given by Vm by root 2. I equal to Im by root 2. Now onward we are going to take the RMS values. So V is the RMS value of the applied sinusoidal voltage. I is the RMS value of the circuit current. Now what about the VR? VR is the RMS value of the voltage drop across the resistor, which is given by VR equal to IR. Next VL equal to J IXL. Now J is equal to 90 degrees. J is the 90 degrees. So here in inductive circuits, current lags the voltage. That means voltage leads the current. Now as it is a series circuit, current is same in a resistor and inductor. We are going to take current as reference. As same current flows through R and L, I is taken as reference. Now resistor voltage VR and current I are in phase with each other. Already we have seen. Next, the current I lags the inductor voltage VL by 90 degrees. Now here, you can see here, I is taken as reference. That means it is taken on the x-axis. Now here we are going to have VR. VR equal to I into R. Next, if you take a relation between voltage and current in a inductive circuit, so current lags the voltage. That means voltage leads the current by 90 degrees. So VL I have drawn 90 degrees ahead of I. Now if you add VR and VL, we are going to get applied voltage. As per the Kirchhoff voltage law, applied voltage is equal to VR plus VL. VR plus VL as per KVL. So here VR plus VL, if you add VR and VL, just like vectors, if you add VR and VL, you are going to get a V. So here, if you want the magnitude of V, it is taken as under root of VR square plus VL square. So if you substitute, you are going to get. So here VL equal to I into XL. So where XL equal to omega L. Here XL equal to omega L. Note XL equal to omega L. So current is given by V by under root of V R square plus XL square. Here. So instantaneous power. So power, for getting the power equation, first we have to find the instantaneous power equal to Vi. So V equal to Vm sin omega t, I equal to Im sin omega t minus phi. So here you can see the angle phi. So here I have taken theta. Generally it can be taken as phi. So sin omega t into sin omega t minus phi. In the numerator and denominator I have taken 2 and 2. 2 multiplied and divided. Now here 2 sin omega t minus phi. This can be written as, take the formula cos a minus b minus cos a plus b. So like that you take here, you are going to get this one. Now here the instantaneous power consists of two parts. One is the constant part. Next one is the pulsating component, whose average value over one cycle will be 0. So finally average power is given by 2 Vm cos phi. So Vm by root 2, Im by root 2 is RMS values. So here the average power is given by Vi cos phi. So if you take RL circuit, the average power is given by Vi cos phi. So V and I are the RMS values of the voltage and current. The term cos phi is called as power factor of the circuit. Now here in AC circuits, if you for a AC circuit, the power is given by Vi cos phi equal to 1 for resistive circuits. So here the cos phi is called power factor of the circuit, and its value is given by cos phi equal to VR by V, which is equal to R by Z. Similarly, you are going to have RC circuits excited by sinusoidal input. So RC circuit. So we have R and C, which are connected in series. Now here similarly you are going to have VR, VC. So here as the current leads the voltage, current in a capacitor circuit, current leads the voltage. That means voltage lags the current. So here VC is taken down. So if we add, we are going to get like this. Now there is another case. Determine the analysis of series RLC circuit excited by sinusoidal input. So in this case, VR, VL, VC, three are taken. So first, so as it is a series circuit, current will be the reference. So VR is taken on the horizontal axis. VL is positive, VC will be negative. So here both are in opposite directions, VL and VC. So here we are going to take VL minus VC on the y-axis, and if you add these two, you are going to get V, which is equal to OD. So here V as applied voltage is equal to V, that is OD. So you can see VL, VC, VL minus VC. So if VL minus VC is positive, you are going to get theta as positive. If VL minus VC is negative, we are going to get theta as negative. Yes. This is a general series AC circuit. R, L and C are connected in series across the supply voltage, which is the RMS value. Now here current is the RMS value of the circuit current. Now here voltage across the resistor is VR equal to IR. Voltage across the inductor is VL equal to J IXL, where XL equal to omega L. Voltage across the capacitor is minus J I XC, where XC equal to 1 by omega C. So this is about RLC circuits. So if you want the voltage, applied voltage, it is taken as under root of VR square plus VL minus VC whole square. I equal to V by Z. So here circuit power factor is given by R by Z. Now here, if you represent this, if you take a tan phi, the tan phi value is given by tan theta equal to VL minus VC by VR. That means XL minus XC by R. So if you take a current common, you substitute the formula for VL. So you have the current, right? VL equal to IXL. This is equal to IXC. So you are going to get this one, tan theta equal to XL minus XC by R. So remaining I will continue in the next class. So these notes I posted in the class, BW classroom. So you can go through this one. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the next class. Okay, let me take the attendance.